We have Tennessee at Baltimore. This game is at 8:15 Eastern Time on Saturday. First thing that popped up to me when I knew these teams were going to be playing each other, Dean Pease. Dean Pease and his knowledge of Baltimore. Dean Pease was the defensive coordinator 2 years ago versus, of the Ravens. And now he's going to be taking on the Ravens in this game. Also, an intriguing part here is that Dean Pease faced Greg Roman in the Super Bowl in 2012 when Greg Roman was the offensive coordinator of the 49ers and Colin Kaepernick running not a similar offense, but some similar things versus Baltimore when Pease was in Baltimore. So there's more coaching intriguing aspects to this game right there. This is the number 1 rushing team in the NFL of all time, actually, in Baltimore, versus the number 4 rushing team in the NFL with the leading rusher in the NFL in Derrick Henry. I will say this. The Titans will not back down. Mike Vrabel is going to come in and motivate his team. He'll have his team ready, and he'll take the same approach he took versus New England to the way he took versus Baltimore. And I don't think the Titans will be scared of Baltimore. I don't think they're going to lay down versus Baltimore. I think this is going to be a competitive game. The Titans have been using Marcus Mariota as Lamar Jackson in practice to replicate some of the things. I think that's interesting. I don't know if it matters at all. I'm just throwing it out there because I thought that was an interesting tidbit there. Baltimore's run defense versus Tennessee's run offense. This might be the game right here, as far as we know it, right? Tennessee was able to beat the Patriots because they were able to score based off their rushing attack, and they're able to dictate the game because of their rushing attack. Now, they only scored 14 points, which I'll get to that a little bit later. But Henry allowed them to basically rest their defense, tire out the Patriots off, or defense, I should say, and then it basically put the game in their hands. So, I think the Titans are going to have to run Henry into the ground once again. He's going to have to take a lot of the football. And you almost wonder, is he going to be a little bit tired, a little bit banged up from last week? We don't know. He's a machine. I doubt it, but I'm just throwing that out there. Because he carried the ball like 30, how many times? Like 35 almost? So that's a lot. Now, I think Baltimore is going to use a similar scheme as New England did in terms of what they do with their defensive backs. New England was mostly aggressive, especially in the second half. They were very aggressive in the passing attack, taking away the receivers and Tannehill, almost forcing Tannehill to beat them. New England actually adapted better in the second half, doing a good job versus Tennessee's rushing attack by playing a 6-1 front, which is a very aggressive way of taking away the run. They could go to the traditional 3-4 defense as well. That could definitely happen. But I could see them doing either or. Maybe they saw what New England did in the second half and says, you know what? That's interesting. We might do this. Or maybe they just go 3-4, take our chances. We'll see what happens. Maybe they don't believe as much in their secondary as New England does. It's another thing. Don't know. But Baltimore has a very good secondary. I think they can replicate the game plan if they choose to. Baltimore, the thing that I think separates New England and Baltimore. Now, I think New England's defense is overall better, and I think New England's defense overall has better DBs. But Baltimore, where they will not be as pushed around as New England, is they have more people that are just large human beings. I know this sounds simple and dumb, but Baltimore has a lot of big people. I've said it many times. Big dudes with big bums. I'm trying to tell you. Okay? They have many more of those than New England does. They have Pierce, they have Williams, they have Wormley, they have Pecco. The list goes on. They got 300-pounders for days. Okay? Baltimore is 9th in adjusted line yards, but the interesting part is Baltimore's weakness on defense is actually stopping the run. They are 19th in run DVOA, and in yards per attempt, they're worse than New England. New England was 4.3, and Baltimore's 4.4 yards per run. That ranks 21st in the league. So, statistics say that Tennessee should be able to run the ball in this game. Tennessee, on offense, is 4th in adjusted line yards and 5th in run offense DVOA. Now, I was talking about the power rank with Minnesota. Tennessee's power rank is 5th. So they're really good at executing on third and short. I think this is going to be a big deal. I think whoever can win in the red zone and then whoever can win on third and short, it will dictate whether the Tennessee Titans are close in this game or if they have a chance to win, right? If they're able to execute on third and short, move the chains, if they go for it on 4th and 2 or less and move the chains, I think that they have a chance. And they are good in those short yardage because Derrick Henry is such a large person, he almost always falls forward for the first down. Baltimore, something they don't do a lot is play a lot of linebackers. I think they're going to have to do that in this game, which is going to force them a little bit out of their comfort zone. And I think that Tennessee, like they did versus New England, I think they'll be able to pass using their tight ends. I think their receivers might have a little bit of difficulty, but I think using their tight ends, the way they did versus New England, I think they could have some success passing the ball. Now, talking about that, Baltimore's pass defense versus Tennessee's passing offense, Tannehill and the receivers are going to have to make more plays than they did last week. They made no plays. He had 70 yards. I think Tannehill made 2 good throws all day, the passing touchdown, then the third down and long to basically ice the game. 2 passes where he really had to do something. This game he's going to have to do more because 14 points isn't going to be good enough. And in most games, Bill Belichick was correct, right? What I mean by that was Bill Belichick basically said, run all you want, but you're only going to score 14 points. Most offenses, especially Baltimore, is going to score more than 14 points. And New England simply didn't have an offense that was going to score any points, right? But Baltimore does. So Tennessee, you're going to have to pass the ball to win this game. You're not just going to have to be able to run the ball. So in certain situations, they're going to have to pass if they want to score and if they want to keep up to Baltimore. Because Baltimore's going to score. Let's face it. Tennessee might have a decent defense, and they might be a little bit better than people think, but you're going to have to score more than 14 versus the best offense in the league. Okay. Humphrey, I think he's going to cover A.J. Brown. I think we're going to see Peters a lot on Davis, although that could change a little bit depending on who's on the field. I think Clark, their strong safety, is going to cover Jonnu Smith. I would favor Jonnu a little bit in that matchup, but I think Humphrey and A.J. Brown's a really good matchup. If A.J. Brown can win that matchup, then we're talking Titans. We're talking Titans, fans. He didn't win his matchup versus Gilmore last week, but I don't think many people expected him to. He also didn't need to, so there's that. If Tannehill and the Titans are forced into shotgun passes, we saw it last week. They executed on 1 third down versus New England. I think if they're in third down passes, just like San Francisco, just like Minnesota, these teams do not want to be in these drop back passing type of games where they're coming from behind and they're having to score quickly. They're not the Chiefs. Right? They don't have all the creativity in the drop back game. So Tennessee, they play the same way as like what I was talking about Minnesota. They want to run the ball, they want to use play action, and they want to beat you over the top. That's why Tannehill's had a great passer rating. That's why he's had a great yards per attempt, because he's shooting the ball down the field. Shot plays, big plays down the field. And I think if Baltimore gets in these third downs where it's like 3rd and 7, they have a good first down where they stop the run. They have a decent second down. If it's like 3rd and 7 plus, I think Baltimore's going to get off the field. Now, something interesting is Baltimore blitzes the most in the NFL. Tannehill has been good versus the blitz, but something that's also interesting is that Tannehill's also been sacked a lot. Tennessee ranks last in the league in sack rate. They're 32nd in sack rate. The Ravens rank 18th in getting after the quarterback. Baltimore is not good just rushing the quarterback without a blitz. But when they blitz, they do get to the quarterback. They also have a good secondary, as brought up. Now let's flip the football, because I know you want to know, can the Titans even stop Lamar, or else this game's not even going to be interesting, right? Because you need to stop Lamar to beat the Ravens. My question is, how are they going to stop? How are they going to try? How are they going to attempt it? I really don't know. Is Vrabel and Pease going to do something that we haven't seen done versus Lamar? They certainly have the profile and the credentials to be able to do so. Deed Pease is creative as anybody, and he's played Roman before on a major stage. Vrabel is a creative guy as well, and he's ballsy. Now, I do think the Titans have one thing that I think could help them. Just like the Ravens, they have a lot of people that are big guys with big bums, right? But they also may be a little bit too slow. And why I say they might be a little bit too slow is Lamar Jackson is super fast. And the first thing in containing the rushing attack of the Ravens is you need to be able to contain him, right? Lamar can just run past people. That's why the last year in the playoffs, the Chargers just had a bunch of safeties play because they're like, we need to be fast. We can't be slow. So I think it's going to be a lot on the linebackers. Jayon Brown, Evans, Woodyard, Landry. These guys are going to have to be on it. Also, I think Kenny Vaccaro is going to be a spy a lot of the times. Or if he's not a spy on Lamar, he's going to be one-on-one with Andrews in the passing game. Casey, Jones, those guys are going to be massive at stopping Mark Ingram, right? But stopping Lamar is on the linebackers and on the safeties. I think they can do it in spades, but I don't think they can do it like consistently. That's the thing. I think they can do it a little bit. I don't know if they can do it all the time. If they can somehow figure out a way to trick the Ravens, then they have a chance of winning. In the passing game, I don't think it's a bad matchup for the Titans. I think Adoree Jackson will be on Marquise Brown most of the time. I think Logan Ryan will be on Willie Snead. Now, the Titans, they're okay at getting after the quarterbacks. They're not anything spectacular. Their strength is stopping the run. And like I said, their strength is in their interior defensive line. So I think they will be able to slow down Mark Ingram. But the question is, can they slow down Lamar Jackson in the running game? It's a different proposition than just facing a team that runs the ball from under center with a normal quarterback. It's just different. Now, the Ravens, I think something that they do very well, and we saw this in particular versus the Patriots, is they do a really good job at creating separation versus man with their tight ends. You know, they do a lot of different like rub routes and like crossing routes to get open with their tight ends. And I think that's the way Lamar is going to be able to beat them. And I think as the game goes on, it's going to be close. It's going to be a battle up front. And then we're going to see Lamar hit a shot down the field once or twice. And I think that's going to be the difference. Now, turnovers could change this game. And also, if the Titans can somehow get the lead in this game by 10 points early in the game, this game changes completely. Because then that puts Lamar in a position and the Ravens in a position where they're no longer playing from a strength, they're playing from a weakness. That's the only way I see the Titans winning. They need to get an early lead. They need to force multiple turnovers. If that does not happen, I don't see it happening. You know, the Titans really good in the red zone, 76%, which leads the NFL on offense, but the Ravens are number 2. So I don't really see a clear advantage there. Special teams is interesting. The Ravens have the best kicker. The Titans have the best punter. Maybe field position could help the Titans win this game. It definitely helped them beat the Patriots in New England. Special teams is always a big deal when you're on the road. My score in this one is the Ravens winning 27 to the Titans 16. I think this game's competitive for a large portion of it. Maybe late into the, probably like early fourth quarter, and then the Ravens are able to pull away. I think there's going to be one big play that Lamar will make that Tannehill will not make. And that's why I have the Ravens winning 27 to 16.